And the thing is, people need to realize that what they think is not a talent or something resourceful is actually a talent.
That's it.
Like just this week, a friend of mine, she sees my graphics. I don't do a graphic service, but she was like, I need you to help me create an invitation because we're going to have a 25-year anniversary. I said, I got you. All right. So she paid me for that, and I had it done within half an hour. So tap into the skills that you have. Maybe you don't do that. Maybe you know how to bake a cake, and somebody want to know how your caramel cake tastes, baby. You better tap into that and teach them to do it and charge them for it.
Yes.
It's
It's
not
the
bad.
one thing, like you said, Lala, it's the one thing that everybody keeps asking you for. What is it like? I love the way you do this. What is that? That's your one product. That's your one offer. So,
That's it.
just, not to make this we ain't gonna get it, we ain't gonna make this a class, but it's gonna be a class today because it's important. It's important that you start to do that.
It is. So,
Yes.
Aisha, I am going to tap into you once again because you are a financial expert. We're talking about how we can tap into our talents, but how can we tap into our finances when they're low to help build them up to their to a different level point? I hear about $5 stocks. I hear about penny things, but how and people balk at that thinking that it's not a good start, but you got to start somewhere because you got to crawl before you walk. So what can we do at our financial level that we are now to increase it?
Well, yeah, and that's now the question, right? And we can all do it. We can all do it. I think sometimes we forget the power that we have within ourselves. And even if you just hear about our buying power, that 2 trillion, honestly, we should ask ourselves, what are we doing wrong? Right? So how do we begin to fix so that way we can be in the middle, not overly one way or the other, where we can really afford the basics and do the things that we need. I always talk about the simple basic calculation: 50, 30, 20. If 50% for all the things that you need to have, you have to do those things, right? 30% for your wants, 20% for your savings. It has to be done. Savings are underrated, right? Or the emergency fund, which is the savings, are underrated because people don't want to do it. They think, oh no, I don't need that. Honestly, we all need to do that. That's simple math: 50, 30, 20. And start where you are now. If you're already behind, you have to pay bills, fine. Make it a priority that now you're really divvying up whatever you're making, where you don't live above that 50, 30, 20. Because if you, instead of your needs to be maybe 50 and you go now 80, now you're in a bad spot because then you don't have money to put aside for your wants. And then now you start using something like Klarna to not pay for things. But if you try to stay within that range and build yourself back up, all those little things will fade away because then now you're self-funding yourself because you're working hard. You're making this money. It's just that you're not managing it properly. And we just have to say the truth. Accountability is important. That's the only way we can go to the next level because you know what? The economy shows that we have the money. So let's not throw that away. We have the money. Because if we keep blaming other people, it seems as if we don't have the money. But we do. Because it shows 2 trillion every year. Every year our community spends. So
Mhm. Well, listen, we can villainize anything and everything. We can villainize a blade of grass for being green.